Jose Luis El Inicio Sauceda, 6-0 with 3 knockouts. Coming on here today to let y'all know I'll be fighting March 22nd in Mercedes, Texas. I'll be making my 7th professional fight. For those who don't know and for those who that already know, I'm originally from Corpus Christi, Texas, and I've been living out here for about a year and a half. I made my professional career out here, and I represent West Loco, Mid Valley Boxing Academy here in West Loco, Texas. So I'm excited for this upcoming fight, and for those who followed me last year, y'all know what I did, and I'm looking forward to doing it all again this year and even better. So with that being said, stay tuned and come out and show some support. Corpus Christi, the Valley, all surrounding areas, come out and show some love. Appreciate y'all.
How's it going, Jose? It's been a few months. You last fought in July of last year. How you doing? How you feeling? How's training going? And what can we expect from you?
Man, first off, I feel great. My last fight was July 6th. I fought for a little title, super lightweight, WBF's silver championship title. And, I came out victorious. I fought a veteran, and, I learned a lot. And here we are again, preparing for March 22nd. I was supposed to fight in November right after, my last fight, but things didn't go as planned, so we took the holidays off and enjoyed time with my family, and we stayed in the gym, doing what we do, and here we are doing it again, for March 22nd, training 110%. We started the new year training, taking it on 110%, so I'm excited to showcase March 22nd for y'all, and come out and show some support.
One thing that I noticed that I think is one of the most difficult things in boxing as fighters is finding the fights falling through, staying healthy. There's so much that goes into it that I believe is overlooked. What do you feel is the most difficult part of boxing for you?
For me personally, it's not that it's difficult. It's what I love to do. I love the whole dieting, staying in shape, keeping a certain physique. I love it all. I love everything that comes with it. But if you want to go to terms of difficulty, dieting,
You think dieting is most difficult?
Yeah. I mean, I've fallen in love with it, but in the beginning it was difficult, and from time to time, you get those antojos. You want tacos, you want, some ice cream, pan dulce, just stuff of that nature, and just seeing others while you're on a diet eating those things, it's a little, it's what we call temptation, and we can't fall into, as a fighter, as an individual, I can't fall into those temptations, and I choose not to fall into those temptations, so, to answer your question, yeah, the dieting.
Now, Jose, something that I personally want to know is who cooks all your meals? Because I know it ain't you. I see you eat good, you eat healthy, you eat clean. So who's the chef behind those meals?
It is me. I am the chef. Sometimes I do go out to eat, but I got my own food page. I upload from time to time on there. Most of the time I post on my story. But yeah, I am the cook, man. I've learned and grown as a cooker. My mom was a great cooker, so I got what I got from her, and I'm still learning, and I'm the chef. I do want a personal chef and nutrition dietitian, whatever you call them, later on down the road as I progress in my professional career. I think that would give me so much more of an advantage over a lot of folks.
So what's your favorite meal that you cook when you're on a diet, training for camp? And then what's your favorite meal after your fight?
After my fight, I like me some tacos, burgers, pizza. Um, during my training camp, my go-to would probably have to be, I love my steak, but I think I get the same nutrition from the salmon, and I love the things you can do with salmon. You can prepare it in all different types of ways. Um, so yeah.
Tell me a little bit, Jose, about your biggest supporters and who's there for you in the tough times, and who motivates you. What's your motivation behind boxing?
You know, I can sit here and say, my son's my motivation. Don't get me wrong, he is. but it's me. You know, the trials and tribulations I've gone through growing up. You know, I keep that in my mind every day, and that's what keeps me going. And now that I have a beautiful son, who's a year old and a couple months, man, it's even more motivation for me to keep going and thrive and not go back to the person I was, and not to fall into the mistakes and positions that I put myself in the past. You know, so and supporters, man. I got a few sponsors, but my loyal sponsors are Onora Construction. You know, here in the RGV. They support me to the fullest. They've been with me for a year and some change. My strength and conditioning coach, man, he supports me a lot. Dogs Athletic Performance, Jaime Acuna. Shout out to him. You know, I have people like my barber as well who, you know, I sit down on that chair and he just, you know, talks of positive vibes and ideas and goals, and, you know, shout out to him, 930 Barber Studio. And last but not least, the person that took the time to help me change my life around, owner of Mid Valley Boxing Academy, Joe Castillo. You know, he's the one that started all this for me and took me under his wing, and, you know, has done a lot that my own blood hasn't, you know, and, you know, people who I called family. He's done more than those folks, and I take my hat off to him, and, you know, and I love the dude to death, and I appreciate everything he's done for me.
So tell me a little bit about what it takes to believe in yourself. I think boxing is a selfish sport, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to want it more than anybody else. But uh, I know people believe in you maybe before you believe in yourself. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you definitely gotta believe in yourself, and if you don't, you have to grow into it, because boxing is. I believe in every other sport, not just boxing. There's gonna come a time where you gotta be selfish, and boxing is one of those sports that mainly involves being selfish, because, you know, you want to be on top, you want to be better than the next person, you want to leave a mark, you know, so you want your name to be out there. So there's no hard feelings whenever, you know, local and or not local folks, opponents, you know, come into the picture. It ain't personal, but you know, I'm here to take over and be selfish. You know, I want to win. So
So what's the favorite part of boxing for you? Is it the fight week? Is it the training? Is it the meal after the fight? Is it during the fight? Is it the walk-ins? Tell me, what's your favorite part of the whole fight?
I got two personal favorite parts about boxing. It's definitely not the training camp. It's more of fight week and the ring walk for me. You know, those are the two parts of boxing that are like, you know, it's just, it brings that fire out. Fight week, you know, you got the cameras, you got people interviewing you. You're looking good, you know. Me personally, I'm looking good. You know, my physique's on point. Fight week, you know, I'm 2 pounds, 3 pounds away from my weight. You know, my mood will be off because, you know, I'm cutting the food down. You know, I'm hungry, I'm hangry, but, you know, once those cameras come out, it's like, you know, it's time to shine. And that ring walk, you know, my ring walks, I like to choose songs that I can relate to, that motivate me and inspire me. So yeah, those are the two things for me.
Now you mentioned that the training was maybe your least favorite part. You have me fooled because I always see you in the gym. It seems like you love what you do. You share a lot of your workouts. Man, I always seems like you're always training. Tell me about that.
Um, it's it's considered my least favorite because, you know, like, the amount of work I put in, I go home in pain. You know, I go to sleep hurting. This hurts, that hurts. But at the end of the day, I know it's gonna benefit me and help me. And sometimes, you know, I can't get the recovery on the days that I feel like I need it the most. And um, when I do get the recovery, I feel like it was just like um, I need more. I need more recovery. But definitely, I go home at night, and certain things hurt, and that's what it it's kind of my least favorite, but at the same time, it motivates me to keep going because I know I'm seeing progress. I look at myself in the mirror. I see progress. So and then I'm sparring and whatever. I see results. So
So say most champions that I see, they push themselves to the limit. Where do you draw that line of overtraining, not overtraining, pushing yourself to the limit, and finding where that limit is for you?
I've had a lot of mentors in my life when it comes to boxing. People who know boxing. A lot of different people have came to me and filled my brain with knowledge about certain things. Um, you do gotta push yourself to a certain limit to to where you're exhausted. You're maybe you end up crying. You got boogers coming out and stuff, but you have to draw a line also as well. You gotta take care of your health and not leave everything in the gym. You gotta save it for the fight. Sparrings. Some people like to spar every day. Um, Again, you gotta save yourself for the fight. You don't want to overwork yourself, but you want to be ready for your fight. So it's very opinion based. A lot of people have different opinions about how much and how hard you should train, um, and I just go based off of what my body feels is necessary, and how I'm feeling leading up to my fights.
Okay, Inicio, Robert Garcia just was considered the trainer of the year through the Ring magazine, which is a highly decorated award. Tell me a little bit about training in his gym and some of the people you've sparred and who are the toughest opponents that you've dealt with.
Opponents like there at the RGBA or
Yes, sir.
well, being there, having that experience that I got was tremendously blessing. It was a great opportunity, and I learned a lot there. And I sparred some great guys like Lindolfo Delgado, um, este, Oscar Duarte, Brandon Lee, um, a lot of other guys from different gyms around the area in California. Um, uh, Louis Correa. There's a handful of guys that I can go on and name, um, but the exposure that I got there was great. It was world class, and I feel like that gives me an advantage over some of these up and coming fighters that haven't had that opportunity or that experience because simply because I know what it takes and I seen it with my own eyes and I know what I gotta do to overcome, and in fact that the fact that I've gone over there and came back, I have a vision. I'm able to see things, a clearer view of my opponents and people who step in front of me. So um, I am I'm well aware of how much I've grown and learned, and I'm still a work in progress. I'm here to learn every day and take whatever I can in.
Who's the toughest opponent you sparred at RGBA?
Toughest opponent, Oscar Duarte for sure.
I heard he
People
hits.
underestimate Oscar Duarte. Oscar Duarte is a bull with no intention to stop. Like he's gonna come, and he hits hard. He has that one punch knockout for sure.
So the first time that you walked into RGBA, were you intimidated? What were your emotions? What were you feeling the first time you ever walked in?
No, I was ready to show what I had and to expect a ass whooping. But I was there ready to impress.
What do you feel the biggest lesson that you've learned from being there at RGBA? Is it technical? Is it mental? Or what is your one thing that you've learned that sets everything apart?
Patience and listening to your corner. I've been in around boxing since the age of 3. You know, I was in the gym, you know, hitting bags here and there. Once I grew a little older, I got more serious, got into the sport, started learning more, started fighting at the age of 8. Since then, I've been in the sport of boxing. So I want to say I've been in the sport of boxing for about 15, 16 years probably. And
What does it feel like training in the big leagues, which it's one of the most popular gyms, compared to maybe being locally or some of the other gyms you've been? What is the difference?
difference is, um, everybody's working hard. You know, here locally, I take nothing away from some of these fighters, but the gyms I've gone to locally, you know, I'm there trying to, you know, go 110%, and then the guy next to me is just doing the bare minimum, and it's a vibe killer sometimes, you know. And over there at the RGBA and gyms like RGBA, everybody's working, everybody's pushing, you know, everybody's breathing heavy, and it's just a different vibe, and it allows you to grow and just do more.
Is Robert holds his fighters to I believe a higher standard. Does that make you nervous? Does that when you're there does it motivate you? How do you feel from that?
It makes you a man, you know. You hold yourself accountable, and you have someone like Robert Garcia holding you accountable because he knows what he has. And
All right, so what is your goals for 2025?
2025, man, I'm looking at ending the year 12-0, 13-0. I'm looking at trying to fight some undefeated fighters towards the end of the year, making a statement, putting myself out there, taking, you know, those little risks, little by little. So far in my career, I've had some veterans, some young, experienced fighters, you know, as my opponents, and you know, I've taken a lot from those, and I'm looking at ending the year at least putting my undefeated record on the line against somebody else who's undefeated, or you know, close enough. Give me uh that that pressure, you know, that hype, you know, putting my O on the line. I think that would be great for me towards the end of the year.